And we have a monitored patient who's collapsing. That is the patient from the ambulance just now. Well, let's get her to the ICU. Hey guys, welcome to Unmodded Gaming. I'm the Unmodded Gamer, and I'm back with more Project Hospital. Now, in the last episode we had saved a few people's lives, and today I'm going to see if we can change some other or save some other people's lives. And I'm going to look at Mark White first, who had an aortic rupture, but who is now undergone cardiovascular surgery, which should have recovered that nicely. And now he only has one hidden symptom. And I'm curious to what it is actually. Severe hemorrhage. Severe bleeding. Now he does have a pressure bandage. So that should be taken care of. This is kind of well, that doesn't make me feel comfortable at all. Let's just do a physical examination when he is done with his surgery. We have James Hill, whose life isn't in danger. And then we have John Barkley at the intensive care, who is asleep. So he should heal nicely, just like my patients from cardiology, who they're now performing surgery on. Oh, I thought they had finished the surgery already, but apparently not. Okay, that's why I did this physical examination, because if he does have a severe hemorrhage, I want to take care of that as soon as possible, of course. Although I'm not really sure if that is something I should be worried about, since he already has a pressure bandage. But you never know. Now, for my other patients at this hospital, I'm going to have a look at Fraser Young over here, who is waiting for a doctor or technologist for examination. He's had an angiography being made. Who is that? Brooke Martinez. Okay. Mitral valve prolapse. Mitral valve prolapse is a condition where the heart's mitral valve bulges into the left atrium during the contraction of the left ventricle. This is usually following an acute myocardial infarction affecting the attachment of the valve of the left ventricle. Okay. Anticoagulants can be given for that, but since she is still in or at the emergency department, she cannot be prescribed that. But as soon, of course... What? Why not? I was going to say, as soon as she goes to the cardiology department, we can give her that medication, but for some reason she doesn't go there. Let me see here. Cardiology department. Maybe I have to hire a nurse or a receptionist for the night shift. He's a germaphobe and loyal. Well, we'll go ahead and hire Judy Lee then. And I'll just do that for everyone here, or every department I should say. So for neurology, that's going to be Jennifer Miller probably. Then we're gonna go down to general surgery, and we'll hire Susan Wright. She has a long commute, she's a hard worker and a night owl. Then we have the intensive care here. That is not very interesting because that doesn't have a reception. Then we go down to the orthopedy department, and I'm going to hire Jennifer Jones for that. And last but not least, we also have the internal medicine department, where I'm going to hire Sarah Davis for the night shift. Now, I'm here and it is pretty convenient actually that I'm in this mode, because I can now have a look at our patients as well. Because like I said in an earlier episode, this is what I like to do, to just go through all the patients at this hospital and see if they're being treated, see if they have a diagnosis, and see if their life is in danger or if they could collapse, which isn't the case for the patients at internal medicine. So I'll have a look at my patients. Here, that is only one patient. Patricia Moore. Okay. Well, then I'll go up to the general surgery department. Surprisingly few people here. Calculus and bladder appendicitis, another case of appendicitis, and a H. pylori infection. There's a bacteria present in the upper gastrointestinal tract, the main cause of peptic ulcers. Then we go up to cardiology. Kate Hill, Mark White, you came in with the ambulance. Brooke Martinez, Charles Thomas, and Susan Gonzalez. And now the neurology department. There are Jennifer Jackson, pneumococcal meningitis, an inflammation of membranes covering the spinal cord and brain due to pneumococcal infection. Okay. CIPD, Frank Martinez. Chronic inflammation demyelinating polyneuropathy is an immune inflammatory disease infecting peripheral nervous system by destructing the cover sheet that protects and insulates the nerve and fibers. Well, he's treated as well. And here we have Peter Wilson with angle closure glaucoma, and it is caused by sudden and rapid increase of the intraocular pressure, and he has undergone eye surgery. Well, nobody is really at risk here, so we can go down to the emergency department and see if Brooke Martinez can be taken into cardiology, and it looks like she can. And then we have Fraser Young, who is being transported to the examination. back pain and stiffness of the neck are two possible symptoms. I don't really understand this though, because none of these symptoms are something you would see in an angiography. Because an angiography, for those of you who don't know, is to look at your blood vessels, not your muscles, not your bones, not anything like that. So I don't understand why they do this, but we'll go with it, I guess. There isn't much we can do about it anyway. So now that has been taken care of, I'll go down and have a look at the patients, if there are any, at the doctor's offices. And we have someone coming in, but that is not a patient. Casey Miller is that, and he is a surgeon. Well, let's just hope we didn't have to perform any surgeries on anybody from cardiology. And here we have the ambulance that I heard rolling out a few minutes ago. Let me see what we got here. Charles Lopez. Okay. Well, he does have a hemorrhage, which is a bleeding, but it isn't as serious or as critical as with my patient with the aortic rupture. So we'll get something for that bleeding, and then we'll get his x-ray made. Ah, right. They're doing something. And a bandage. And then we'll see what kind of fracture he has. Because whatever it is, he is definitely a fracture. He is a tourist. Well, that could slow things down a little. Well, there isn't really much to do other than just looking at all this. So I'm going to skip the night again, and I'll let you know, as always, if there is something. And we get a patient from the ambulance again, someone with a traumatic brain injury. So this is quite serious. He's gonna have to get a craniotomy performed on him, neurological surgery to get access to the brain. He has 6 hidden symptoms. Okay. They're going to have to perform a surgery on him ASAP. So they're now performing a surgery on him, and I really hope he's going to recover from that surgery and that he doesn't have any other hidden symptoms that might cause him to collapse or not survive this entirely, because he could have an intracranial hemorrhage, which is bleeding inside the skull, or even a skull fracture, which has to be corrected by another surgery, a fracture neurosurgery of the head, and it can only be found with a CT scan. So I'm going to see if he recovers from this surgery, and if not, I'm going to get a CT scan ASAP, but that is not an available examination right now, although that is an active examination. So that is curious. That is odd. I hadn't expected that, but it's a good thing that is already been planned, because that means that I don't need to worry about that anymore. So James Allen. 6 hidden symptoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, the chances are pretty high that he has a skull fracture. So let's hope we can get a CT taken as soon as this surgery is over. But this game just really works like very slowly, because oh, hang on, we got another ambulance coming in. But what I was about to say is that this game just works so slowly that they will a penetrating trauma of the head, so that's gonna be another craniotomy. But as I was saying, this game works pretty slow sometimes, because they'll like get a surgery done, or they'll perform some other thing on the patient, then they'll bring the patient back to where the patient has been sleeping, or where the bed of the patient is. And only after that they go to the next thing. So they don't go from a CT scan to an MRI to an X-ray, for example. They'll go from a CT scan to a bed, to an MRI, to a bed, to an X-ray, to a bed. So that is pretty tedious. And here we have another ambulance coming in. I didn't even notice he left. And it is almost time for the day shift to arrive. And we don't have a diagnosis for that patient yet. But what is a positive about this is that this patient isn't about to collapse. Here we also have a doctor, that is good. We'll perform a TC hospitalization and a physical examination. And once this patient has the diagnosis, I'm going to end this episode. So hopefully they'll find out what is wrong with this patient soon. So a bruise and abdominal injury. So that is definitely something for the general surgery department. So he's He's doing an abdominal palpation right now. Abdominal pain. Well, that doesn't tell us much more. A blood pressure measurement. Please don't leave. It's the morning shift, but please don't leave. Once you have done that blood pressure measurement, what's he doing? Going home. Okay, who's doing that? The fast assessment with sonography and trauma. The special ultrasonography method used in the evaluation of trauma patients and intensive care unit patients. But who is going there? I don't see a doctor for him yet. You doing that? No. You maybe? No. David Harris. David Miller maybe. Right, Thomas Robinson is doing that. Okay. And we have a monitored patient who's collapsing. That is the patient from the ambulance just now. Well, let's get her to the ICU. On life support, but that cannot be prescribed yet. Let me see here. ICU hospitalization has finished for the patient from the cardiology department. Okay. Can we see what this is yet? I really hope this gives us a pancreas confusion. Well, with that being done and said, I'm going to end this episode here. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more. This was the Unmodded Gamer, and stay unmodded.